Resilience, focus, discipline, courage. Some of the key ingredients in manifesting your vision into a reality. Join me as we delve into what it takes to make your mark.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Make Your Mark talk show. If you forgot who I was, my name is Vanessa Spence, and I will be your host for today's episode. Before we get into the conversation, I'm going to remind you guys to follow us on Instagram at makeyourmark.ca and log on. Well, you guys have already logged on because you're watching the video, but log on to www.makeyourmark.ca weekly for updates on videos and also articles and different learning tools to better push you forward towards success. So today I have Ayanna Lee Rivears with us.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, very good. You're looking beautiful today.
Thank you.
It is like super hot in here. You try and you succeed. Ayanna is the founder of Socacize Fitness, one of the first Caribbean Afro dance fitness clubs in the city of Toronto. And you are also a limbo extraordinaire.
Yes. Yes, I've been doing that for a while. Yeah.
That's, if you guys have ever seen this woman limbo, it's like off the charts crazy. I don't even know how her body does it, but she'll probably let us know soon. So Ayanna, please let us know who you are, what you do, more about all of that.
So, as you mentioned, my name is Ayanna Lee Rivears, and I am the Socacize founder. I started Socacize over 10 years ago, and at first it was actually downtown where we started. We used to do workshops, monthly workshops in the dance company, and it evolved. I mean, you know, like you said, it was one of the first Caribbean fitness programs in the city. So once people heard that, you know, we were mixing soca music and drums with fitness, everybody just thought it was the best thing ever. So it's been successful, thank God, over the past couple of years, and we're still going strong.
Awesome. So like, what I think is beautiful is that you've met a need in the community.
Yeah.
So my mentor, she's very interested into fitness and all that stuff. It's the co-host of the show, obviously. Mm-hmm. And she always talks about how women in our community we don't utilize fitness as much as we should. Mm-hmm. So to see you putting, you know, our culture into something that is so necessary, which is fitness, and kind of meshing that together, it's great to see.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't like to work out either, unless it's to the music that I enjoy. So I'm only doing what I believe in, right? Which is combining the music that I enjoy to work out that motivates me. My background is dance. So once you hear the drums, once you're hearing the music, that will keep me moving and that will get me up and dance and moving. So I just did what I believe in and combined the fitness together. When I used to go to the gym, and I used to go to the workout classes, and, you know, you would hear all these different type of music. It didn't motivate me.
Yeah.
So I came up with the idea of combining the Caribbean dance moves that I've learned in the dance company, along with the Caribbean music, and it works. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it helps me, and I can, you know, portray that energy into the revelers, our members.
Oh, nice.
Which we call revelers.
I love that. So what was that seed? What was the seed that planted in you that said, this is going to be the thing that I'm going to do?
I think it was always in me. So I started dancing at a very young age. I was like 11, 12. And again, to me, it's the music that motivates me. When I was dancing, it wasn't in the group at the time. It was in it was like a Latin, not a Latin, sorry, an Afro jazz or contemporary type of group, and I was not motivated. I didn't enjoy it, and my aunt grabbed me because she had a dance company, but of course it was more of an adult dance company. So she grabbed me and she said, you know, why don't you come and dance with me? Actually, she got pregnant at that time, so she couldn't dance. So that's how I started dancing. Okay. So again, the seed was always in me. I was always dancing. I was always around it. What really ignited my fire inside was to, again, the dancers were just, they stopped performing. They just wanted to keep fit. And at the time I was the youngest, and, they were just like, Ayanna, why don't you do a keep fit class? Because I had all this energy and I was combining it with fitness. I was into fitness. And they're like, why don't you combine the Caribbean, or my aunt said, why don't you combine the Caribbean music with the fitness component? And I did. So I took the CanFit Pro training, and I learned the basic anatomy. And with the dance styles that I knew, I put together the fitness program.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Socacize, it's such a catchy name. So how did that come about, the name?
Honestly, there was really no thought into it. It was so like organic. My aunt, she's like, I remember one time we were in San Francisco at a dance conference, and that's where we were inspired, because they had so many workshops, they had so many drum performances and everything. So she's like, why don't you start a Keep Fit program? And I said, okay. And she's like, why don't you call it Socacize? I was like, okay. It was nothing, we weren't really like thinking it through or anything, planning. It was just, it's something that happened organically.
Oh, love that word.
Yeah.
Organic and natural. Yeah. That's really nice. So you just kind of picked up the ball and rolled with it.
Yeah. I mean, again, to me, it was just, honestly, it was like, let me just try a thing.
Let's try a thing. Yeah.
That's what it was to me. And I was like, let's just see how far this goes. And now it's like I opened up the Pandora's box. And it's like, there's a saying that my aunts and them would say, who sent it? So it's like, it's gotten to be a lot bigger, but it's a lot better. And I'm really grateful.
Awesome. So like, even when I kind of go back to my first introduction with Socacize, I went to one of the first boot camps that you had here in Toronto, and I went with my cousins, and just the energy that was, it like filled the entire room. And at that point it was in a gym. So like, can you imagine a huge gym, and you can feel just the thickness of the energy and the joy and the happiness that was coming out of the music and coming out of the moves. And then Socacize got reintroduced to me when I worked at a gym. And I think it was every Tuesday and Thursday. The class would happen in the evening, and the receptionist would just know what was happening. Like at 5 o'clock, people would start trickling in, and people would know, okay, it's Socacize night, because the energy just went from like here to through the roof. Yeah. So, and then when the class actually started, you hear the music and you hear the laughs and you hear the dancing and all that good stuff. And did you have any idea what sort of impact, like the amount, the large impact that it would have on our community?
No.
And even outside of our community too, like there's a lot of non-Black people going into Socacize.
We have such a diverse background of ethnic people that are attending now. But I really didn't have any idea. Like I said, we started it off as let's try a thing. Back in the days when we were at our peak with the dance group, that was the energy that we had, especially with the founding members. That was the energy. And I always said to myself that one day I want to be able to portray what we do, how we feel with the dancing to the general public, but simplify it where it's not really like a performance for them. They can be part of the experience that we get when we perform, but it would be simplified for them, where they're able to learn the moves, but they're not performing on stage. But I want them to feel what I feel. I want them to experience what I experience with performing and with the Caribbean music.
That's great, because in performance, when you say that it's a performance, people start to seize up. You know what I mean? And with soca music, with reggae music, with dance hall, you have to free up yourself. So to do that in a room full of like-minded people and people who actually want to learn and want to dance and just want to kind of shed those extra pounds in a way that is suitable to them, it's a great thing.
Absolutely. And it really is the music that gets me through. And I want, again, what I feel, I want the revelers to feel that too. And it's a movement, it's a vibe, it's an experience. People come, the music is playing, they're automatically happy. That's how I felt. So that's something that I want to demonstrate and have the revelers experience when they come to Socacize.
Okay, so you would say, well, like you said it's the music that keeps you going. So even though you picked up this ball and you kind of kept the ball rolling, I was going to ask, like, what is it that kept you going? If it wasn't a business plan or if it wasn't anything specific, then it was the music that kept the momentum.
It was for me. I mean, and it still is. I didn't step into Socacize with a business background. I stepped into Socacize with a dance background, with a performance background, with a creative side background. So for me, it's no matter what, no matter if I'm tired, no matter if I have things to do, once the music plays, then everything goes away and I feel different. And again, that's what I want my revelers to experience. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we are going to put a pause in there. We are going to take a short break and we will be right back.
From a tender age, I recognized that I was not the average girl. I was always opinionated, outspoken, and for the most part, unapologetic. I was born to lead, to inflict positive change, to serve. I was born a leader. Harnessing this internal drive led me to spearheading several businesses while unlocking potential within large organizations in director roles throughout the city. While on this quest, I discovered my love for people and passion for personal development. Throughout my career, I have mentored hundreds of individuals, both personally and professionally. Channeling my belief of self-care and with an avid love for fitness, daily I nurture my mind, body, and soul, embracing the very act of self-love. I truly do believe that you cannot give what you don't have. With a commitment to living on purpose and within my purpose, my personal mantra is to leave you better than I met you.
Hello, everyone, and we are back on the Make Your Mark Talk Show. I am Vanessa, and I'm here with Ayanna Rivears today. So before the break, we were kind of talking about how the music keeps you going, and how that really kind of puts a spark under your butt. Me being of Caribbean descent, I'm half Jamaican, but if it were up to me, I'd be all Trini.
I hear you like to get down.
I do. Just having that connection with my culture and with the music, and like I said earlier, just doing it with people who are okay to free up themselves, with people who find a joy in that. So once again, just having that connection with my culture, it's something that's very important to me, and that's something that I want to pass down to my child and everyone after. Just that initial connection. How do you think that connection to culture can positively impact our community?
That's an amazing question. I think it can positively impact the community in so many ways. By understanding where, the meaning of why we do what we do. Carnival started where it was a celebration, and now it's evolved to parties and, still celebration, but there was a meaning behind it. Went back all the way down to slavery. However, people would understand, have more of an understanding and appreciation of our culture once they step into Socacize and they experience Socacize. It's the moves pertaining to the songs that we play that they may not have known before they came there. Such as, I don't know, we would do like a PK move. That's something that I've learned with the folklore dancing. you're doing it in Socacize, but you don't even realize it that you're doing it because you're using soca music. Back in the days with the PK, we would use drums, right? So it's just educating people on the Caribbean dance styles and also the culture without them even realizing that that's what's happening. And they're having fun. That's most important. They're having fun while they're learning, while they're dancing, while they're burning calories, while they're feeling good.
Yeah, so to like touch back on that topic of doing it unconsciously. So like their subconscious is really soaking in the culture and what's going on, and their body can understand that this is the way we move and this is the way we used to communicate, right? And then their subconscious can soak that in the class, but then take that out into society, and they're using it.
And Caribbean music is very flirtatious, and that empowers the revelers in the class to feel good about themselves. We do a lot of hip movements. We do a lot of whining, which a lot of people know it as gyrating, but we whine a lot. So a lot of the times when the revelers come to the class and we do a move, they're so embarrassed, but they're doing it. And they would never do it in any other class, but they're empowered to do it because that's what everyone's doing. They're embarrassed. I see their faces. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm doing this, but they're still doing it.
And that goes, it was someone who we were talking to earlier. There's some sort of like shame or stigma that comes along with the word gyrating. Like even when you said it, I'm like, ugh, that word just sounds so, it sounds negative. But when you say whine, there's music even to the word, right? So them doing that in a place that's empowering, do you see, like what kind of changes do you see in these women or people?
Confidence, energy. They like the stories they would tell me after class the next day. I went home and I showed it to my husband. It's just the energy. Had a good night. This is what I'm saying. It's the confidence. If it's one word I can say to you, it's the confidence. They're empowered to feel sexy, sultry, and strong.
Right. And what I think is beautiful is that through your body and through what you're doing with Socacize, you're passing down a knowledge that they're able to pass down to, their kin and so forth. But while you were in the dance group you were in, what was it called again?
Caribbean Folk Performers.
Yes. So while you were in that, what did the elders pass down to you that you're using today?
They passed down that. They passed down.
I said elders, but like aunties. Like make them sound like they're like dead, but no. Yes.
They passed down that you can do something you love and make it into a career. They showed me how to have fun, and they showed me how to embrace my body, embrace my sexuality, and just be happy with yourself, with how you are, and take care of yourself. Growing up in the group, not just in the group, but within my family, we've always been laughing. There's always been laughter. Even when there's sadness, there was always a laughter. So that's how I cope a lot with things. A lot of people say I laugh a lot, but that's just my coping mechanism. So that's one of the things that I can say that they've taught me, because we've had a lot of trials and tribulations where we could have ended and we could have said, you know what, we're not going on anymore. But we continued through humor and just knowing that, I'm not saying not to take things seriously, but for the lack of better words, really and truly just try not to, because everything always works out. Again, I'm not a person where I would say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do. It happened that way, and I didn't really know where I was going with Socacize, but I knew that I enjoyed it. So for me, enjoying the journey was more important than knowing the destination. For me,
I enjoy that. Yeah. I definitely enjoy that. Laughter.
Sorry,
Go
cut
ahead.
you.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, I do have to know where I'm going. I do have to take it. I am taking it more on a business level because it is a business. But again, when I started it, it was more of an enjoyment for me and, a love for it. I still love it, but just have to love it on a business perspective.
Sometimes it's hard to change that perspective, because when it's something that you love, you do it as, for me, the things that I love, I do them as release. I don't want to have to depend on the things that I love to put food on the table or to put a roof over my head. That stuff, it takes the love out of it.
Yeah.
That we're going to kind of get into a little bit later.
No problem.
But I guess going back to what you've learned from the aunties, in some ways they were mentors to you.
Absolutely. In the dance group, I had a couple mentors that after a show, they would talk to me about spacing, something as little as that. But it's so important when you're performing, spacing, just about having fun, feeling the music, as opposed to just dancing to the music, and just making things happen organically as opposed to robotically. Right. So it's just, and it's not something that they would sit down and say, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. It's something that I've really observed in the group. So it was observations. It's things that happened. And again, me being the youngest at the time, I was just under their wing, and I was just, I was like a child in a candy store, just looking and just taking everything in.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I can say. Definitely being a sponge was one of my biggest, I guess, advantages.
Yeah, that's great. Being ready to learn, being prepared to learn. Because what I find now, I speak to a lot of women in the older generation, and they talk about in their jobs, the younger generation coming in, and the younger generation coming in and thinking that they know everything. Or that I don't need your help, or this and that. Do you find that?
Yes, and it's just for me, coming from the generation where I came from, with my aunts being around me. I grew up with a lot of older people. Again, I had the ability to just absorb everything, absorb the actions, the way that they had fun, and they didn't make things so light. Like you said, dance was their outlet, right? It wasn't their job. It was their outlet. So I was able to experience the performances. In between the performances, we'll make jokes. You know what I mean? So it was that I experienced, and I love to bring that into Socacize.
Awesome. Do you have any mentors today?
I do. I have Kim. I have my aunts. We're still around. We still talk. Yeah.
Is there any mentors that you've sought? Do you find value in seeking a mentor for different areas that you feel you need help in?
I do, and I believe that, speaking to people who have been there, who are in the same boat that you're in, or who understands what you're going through, it's important to associate yourself with. I would normally go out for lunch with my lawyer now and again to speak to her. And it's just very, very casually, but it's still informative information. So having a mentor is very, very important.
Okay, so for the viewers out there who are looking for mentors, what are some things that you can tell them to look for? Some little tips and tricks.
Well, if you're looking for mentors, are you're looking for a mentor, or you're looking for a mentor like in a specific field, or is it in Socacize?
If you're looking for just a mentor in general.
Just a mentor in general. I guess looking at that person and looking at them, living their life the way that you see yourself wanting to be. So aspiring to be that person. That's one of the things that, you would look for in a mentor. Just seeing how that person, I guess, deals with their affairs, their business, their personal life. Just kind of being able to, or wanting to mirror them. You know, like, for example, I don't know, I would look on television or, you know, the celebrities, and I would say, hey, that person's really taking good care of themselves. They're always in the gym, they're working out. You know, this is what I aspire to be. So whoever you're looking up to is who you would want to seek mentorship in.
Okay. Yeah. So just making sure that you see a piece of yourself in that person or, yeah. Because I was talking to another guy earlier today, and he was saying that he was playing with someone or he saw this person on TV, and he's like, if that person can do it, then I can do it.
Yeah.
So you just you innately see yourself in that being.
Absolutely.
And then you can not take every single step because everyone's life is different, but you see the trajectory, and you can kind of gauge the things that you have to do to move up toward that level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And study them, you know, study them. It takes time to really develop the craft.
Right.
And don't feel any way in approaching them. And if you're able to, you know, be honest, say, you know what, you really admire them and you would like to talk to them, ask them to go for coffee or for tea, you know, get to know them.
Yeah.
Develop a relationship.
That's a good one, the relationship part, because people, they always see it as like, oh, this is the mentor and I'm just the mentee, you know, but people need to understand that the mentor can learn something from you as well.
Absolutely.
It's a exchange of energy. 100%. It's not just, you know, you taking or them giving. It's an exchange.
Yep.
And they need to see a value in themselves. Absolutely. That they can offer somebody something just because you see them on TV or you see them in the position that you want to be in. It doesn't mean that you don't have any value.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a great
good word,
relationship.
value. They both have to value each other.
Right. Right.
They both have to value each other, because you're right. The mentor can learn from the mentee and vice versa.
I want to go back to what you said the aunties told you.
Okay.
That you can do what you love and be successful.
Yeah.
Now I'm seeing a lot. I talk from my generation because I can only talk about what I know. A lot of our parents or a lot of
the same generation.
I feel like we are, but because I see so, and I was kind of talking to this with my partner. We're like that middle generation because we see the older generation and we see there's a bit of a wall, and then we see the younger generation, there's a bit of a wall. So like, you know, the ones between like 19 and 25, like there's something different because we've seen the world before social media.
Yeah.
And we're also in the world of social media.
Yeah.
So being able to know what the world was before and now immersing ourselves in what it is today, I feel like we are a separate generation and we do see things a bit differently. So that's why, like, even though I feel like we are from the same generation, there's still different questions.
Yeah.
We still have very different questions, and there are still things that we can learn from the older generation, and the younger generation.
Right.
So I'm kind of there. I'm just there in the middle, and I'm standing strong in the middle.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's always a sort of pushback from our caregivers or our parents.
Yeah.
Especially in the Caribbean and Black community, that we are not able to, there's no success in doing what we love.
Yes, I understand where you're going with this. Yeah.
So did you get any pushback there?
Absolutely. From my dad.
Yeah. It's always them, right?
Yeah. My dad used to be like, oh, so you want to go on stage and whine? You want to whine for a living? So that's my motto.
Yeah, it's the way that they put it. Like, I'm not just like going up on stage gyrating just for a living. It's more than that.
Well, you kind of are, but it's okay. No,
it all depends on how you look at it.
Exactly. Can make it a living. But anyway, no, but you know, in terms of getting pushback, oh yeah, you know, you're right. The older generation, they're so, you know, gung-ho about going to school, going to college or university, getting a degree, you know, getting a job, and that's it. But things have changed, right? There's nothing secure anymore in a job. You got to create your own job. You got to create your own destiny. And that's another thing that the dance group has taught me. They've taught me how to hustle, how to be able to do this, to do that, and have different outlets for a source of income, right? Performances, they would want us to do this type of dance, and we may not know it, but we'll say yes, and we'll practice it, and we'll do it. Yeah. So in regards to, going back to your question about if I got any pushback, absolutely. But it wasn't from my aunties. It was from my parents or my father. And now, that he's seen, he would drive by the studio and he'd be like, that's my daughter. So
you have to kind of prove yourself a little bit. Yeah.
But again, you can't really blame them,
right?
Because you got to understand where they're coming from. That's their generation. That's what they know. Right. So I get it, but things are changing. Things are evolving. So you just gotta go with the times.
That's a great one.
You gotta go with the times.
Yeah, we're gonna leave it on that note, and we're going to take another short break. We will be right back. Hello, everyone, and we are back on the Make Your Mark Talk Show. I'm here with Ayanna.
Hey.
Before the break, we were talking about getting pushback from family members and things like that.
Yeah.
So with that pushback, how have you forged ahead?
It gave me fuel, to be honest. When I hear that I can't do this or I shouldn't do this, that pushes me further to prove to myself that I can. Not even to others, but just to myself, that I'm able to do it, or I've tried.
That's great.
Yes.
To say at least you've tried.
At least I've always say that to myself, and that's no joke. Like I would say it. I'd say, you know what? If it doesn't work out, at least I've tried. With everything, personal and business.
Because what is that? What Michael Jordan said? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if you don't try, then how do you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the times we just don't try because we hear those sentences replayed in our head about what our family says and
they're loud.
All that.
They're
yeah.
loud. No, they're loud. They're loud.
Yeah, because you care. Like for me, because I care about what that person thinks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So of course what they say is gonna weigh more in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just gives me fuel to just prove it to myself that I can do it, or at least try.
Nice. Big word, failure. A lot of people are afraid of this. That's once again why they don't try. But what is one of the biggest failures that you feel you had to face just on this Socacize journey, and even in life as well?
Trying and not doing what you wanted to do. I mean, it's a failure, but I don't see failure as a bad thing. I see failure as a lesson learned. In life, you have to fail to understand what happened. Like, you have to fail to grow.
Right.
You really do. And you learn from your mistakes. What's the biggest failure for me? With Socacize? I don't know. I've had so many, it's just, I don't think about that in a negative way.
Right.
I think about it as, okay, it didn't work out. What else can we do to make it work?
Okay. So let me rephrase that then. What has been your biggest lesson?
Okay, that's a good question. My biggest lesson would be that you always have to be on point when you always have to be available. You always have to be ready. There's no time for excuses, especially when you're running a business. Nobody cares. It's a service that you're providing, and they want that service. So you always have to be on your A game. What other lessons have I learned? So many.
Yeah, I bet.
So many.
For 10 years to be where you are today, I'm sure.
You always have to have a plan A, plan B, plan C. Because things are not going to go as planned 95% of the times. And you have to be flexible. You have to be able to improvise. And you have to be okay with it, with things going not the way you want it to be. You have to be able to let go. That's another thing for me too. I've learned to let go of a lot of things and not, Socacize is my baby. I raised it, I nurtured it. But I have to also know to let it go. Let certain things go so that people can continue, working with the brand, and just letting them do what they have to do within the brand so that I can be okay with it.
So that idea of letting go, let's get a bit deeper into that, because I was writing a poem the other day, and the prompt was, what's one of the things that you regret? And the first line was, I regret living with regret. Like you can't keep going back and thinking about the things that you could have done.
Yeah.
So what are some tips and tricks you have on letting go?
I mean, I don't dwell too much on it. In terms of me personally, I know I'm a control freak sometimes, most of the time, and it's hard to always, let go certain things pertaining to the company, but you have to be able to depend on other people in order for it to grow. You can't do it by yourself. You need the support. So that's something that I believe in, and I'm working on doing so that the company can grow, right? In terms of the other lessons, there's just so many. There's so many. I mean, being able to be okay with certain things, things that you may not necessarily, again, approve of, or not even just approve of. You wouldn't do it the way that, you wouldn't do it a certain way, but they would.
Right.
So the ability to be okay with that. Yeah.
So for me, that kind of brings in a resilience piece. And you said about like your coping mechanisms, how you laugh, how, you dance.
So hot.
No, honestly, I'm with you on that one. I'm really trying to like make it seem like it's all good up in here, but we're sweating.
I'm doing Socacize right now.
So with resiliency, other than the music, because the music is of course a very large driving force, what keeps you going? What keeps you resilient?
Starting a new project keeps me going. It excites me to start a new venture within the Socacize brand. That keeps me going. Seeing something grow and bloom and develop keeps me going. That's very exciting for me. What else keeps me going is understanding that people are getting, or people do appreciate what you offer, what you're providing to them. I've had a reveler this morning at class say to me, she called and she said, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you for providing a safe place for single women like me to come and enjoy and work out and just have a good time. Things like that makes me realize, or reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's for people to have an outlet, because dancing is my outlet. Yeah. It's for people to go to work and come home, or go to work or go to school and come to a place where they can just be free. That keeps me going. To hear the revelers laugh, to hear the revelers, shout and sing along to the music, to see them flaunt, which is, a whole acronym on its own. Those are the things that keep me going. To see them dancing, to see them dress up, to just make them feel like their best self.
Beautiful. And I've seen it. So just hearing you speak about it, putting that into words is wonderful. So because the community is so large, there are so many different kind of Socacize sisters, we can call them,
That's
popping up.
So
I tried to make it sound nice. But, you know, people kind of taking on the framework of what Socacize is and making it their own.
Yeah.
So with all of these different companies popping up, how do you stay relevant? How do you continue? Like, how do you stay relevant? Like, you know, because even like I look on this Black Toronto thing on Facebook, and there are so many. So like, what are the challenges in keeping Socacize the big sister?
I think because Socacize is the first program of its kind, it's viewed as an established brand. And not I think, I do know, it's viewed as an established brand, and it's a trusted brand. People know it, they like it, and they believe in it, you know? So I personally don't really look to see what else they have out there. My focus is, I'm like in a bubble. My focus is just in how I can grow Socacize. What are the different programs that I can offer to keep it relevant? You know, I want to be able to tap into the young market, the older market, the middle-aged market, and be able to keep everybody happy, or to give everybody the dose of Socacize. And I don't really focus on what everyone else is doing. That's just what it is. I focus on what I'm doing.
Right.
I don't pay. There's a lot of the times people would tell me that this is what's happening, which is fine, but I just continue. I keep going. I just keep going forward.
And how does that, like, because trying to keep all the generations happy, like, I'm sure there's overlap. So can you like let us know if there's any, like, what is the overlap like, trying to make this generation happy and this generation happy?
Well, we have different moves. We have different music catering to different age groups. So if we have like a Socacize Kids program, it would be catered to the kids, which is age 8 to 11. And then we would add in the types of music that they listen to, that they can relate to. So the current age group for Socacize, we would play different songs, different moves. We have, you know, we know that there's working moms who come home and they don't have time for themselves, but they want to feel sexy, they want to feel sultry, they want to feel strong. So we do moves to incorporate in there so that they can feel that way.
Okay, nice. On that note, we're going to take another short break, and we will be right back with Ayanna. See you in a bit. Hello, and we are back on the Make Your Mark Talk Show. Once again, we are here with Ayanna. Before the break, we were talking about resiliency. And resiliency for me is a push. You are faced with so much energy, and you have to kind of double that energy to push on forward. So in your push forward, you are now international.
Yeah.
So yeah, could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have instructors in the US, New York, Washington, Orlando. We have instructors in the Caribbean, in St. Lucia, Barbados, I believe now, and Trinidad soon. We have.
I'm not Trinidad yet.
I know.
What?
I know.
That should have been the first one.
Girl,
Maybe we feel like we don't need it.
Surprisingly, Trinidadians don't want to wine.
I'm not
They
surprised.
only want to wine around carnival time. We'll talk. Anyway.
That makes me mad.
So we have instructors in the UK, Amsterdam, London, and yeah, so they're all over.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you have, I guess you've kind of stretched yourself to become a mentor for these instructors here and internationally as well.
Yes. And, you know, that's where a lot of resiliency has to kick in, because there's so many trials and errors, right? Especially with the whole program, the instructor program. It's like, okay, you know, there's so many different ways that people learn, and you just have to keep trying and making and failing, right? And keep trying again, like just not giving up, not just stopping there. In terms of the mentorship program, we have instructors that are coming in that are starting from scratch.
Wow.
They've never heard soca music before. They don't know how to move. They don't know how to whine. They never heard what whining is. Some of them don't even know what the word soca means.
Wow.
So mentorship plays a big role in the instructor program. We have a mentorship program where once they get the training, they're automatically enrolled for 30 days. And within those 30 days, they can ask us anything they want under the sun pertaining to Socacize. We tried it before where we had it as a one-day training, but that didn't work because, again, there was so much, training. There was so much inquiries that people had, so we extended it to 30 days. And now with that, we break down the sections for them. We talk to them about the confidence, about, knowing that your first class may not be the best class. You will fail, but you have to just keep moving. So those are the things that we talk to our instructors about. We talk to instructors about also being accountable for, knowing that they have to also come to us and learn, right? They have to come to the classes. They have to, be willing to take criticism, constructive criticism, of course, but to take criticism and learn and grow. So we have conversations with them. We started a new level of instructors called regional master trainers, where those instructors have been around for a longer period of time, so they can actually train other instructors and mentor them. So it's really empowering knowing that Socacize is helping like so many people, get jobs, and also be able to help each other keep moving by Caribbean and African dance.
That's amazing. It's a movement.
Yeah.
It's forming a culture of its own, which is beautiful inside of our culture and also outside.
Yes.
Right. So when you do that, you like travel around and you teach all the different trainings?
Yeah. So we do, again, now with the new program, which is the regional master trainers, we have one in New York. We have one in St. Lucia. And then we have one in Niagara Falls. So we have 3 regional master trainers, and their names are Dita, Shani, and Maria. She's gonna kill me.
Hello.
Anyway, the 3 master trainers, they now are able to teach. So that reduces my time, right? And it enables them to grow. So that was one of the lessons that I have learned, and one of the things that I've taken to overcome my controllingness. I was like, okay, let's just do this. Let's expand. That's how we're gonna grow. Right. That's how we're gonna grow. So that was my lesson.
So that feeling that you were talking about earlier, the feeling that you feel when you're dancing to the soca music and to the different types of music, you were giving it to people in Toronto, but now you're able to provide it to the world.
Yes.
Which is like, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel like flaunting. So that's the feeling that I want everyone to experience in Socacize. Flaunt. Flaunt is a program that we developed, I'd say about 5 to 7 years ago. And we have acronyms for this word. It's not just the word. Right. So the acronyms for flaunt are feel good, look good, attitude, unleash, nice up yourself, and take time for you.
Nice up yourself.
So,
love it.
We want the revelers to experience that feeling in Socacize. It's not just a workout. It's not just you come, you work out, and you leave. We want you to feel good. When you come to the studio, which is located at 2811 Weston Road.
Say it louder.
2811 Weston Road. When you come to the studio, you're going to hear laughter. You're going to hear people looking at themselves in the mirror and just whining. We embrace that. So feeling good is whatever makes you feel good, whether it's to put on, red lipstick, right? Or to put on a new a new outfit for your class. We want you to feel good so that you can do better, right? You're performing better when you feel good.
Oh yeah.
Look good. That can be, anything. That can be, again, just getting your hair done, getting your nails done. I'm not a nail person. I don't like to paint my nails, but I did it because I want to look good, right? You know, it's just making you feel better about yourself. And once you look a certain way, you act differently.
Right.
Right. We want ladies to attitude, have a positive attitude. No matter what life brings you, you can always, how you deal with it is important.
It's how you perceive it.
It's how you
look
perceive
at
it.
Yeah.
It's how you act. And I have a son. He's 13. He'll be 13 in a
Oh
couple
my
of
gosh,
weeks.
big boy.
Girl. Anyway, and I always tell him this: life is 90% attitude, right? It really is, and that's something that has taught me throughout my life, having a positive attitude and not dwelling on the negative. So once you have a positive attitude, then you will feel on top of the world. Unleash. Unleash can be so many things. We have so many revelers that come to the class and they unleash. We have ladies bawling out, you know, and they're unleashing.
Soca will make you do those
Well,
things.
this is it, right? You know, their legs are up and they can't hold it any longer. They're calling out all types of names to me and to Lauren and to the other instructors, but they're still holding it, but they're unleashing. We also have social events where they unleash, they come, they talk. We have different topics. So that's another way of unleashing. Nice up yourself. What do you do to nice up yourself, Vanessa?
I sleep.
There you go.
I sleep.
Girl. That's nicing up yourself.
Yeah.
Well, nice up yourself is also more so like, you know, who you feel good. Feel yourself. And I always encourage, you know, revelers to feel themselves. It's your body. You know, you gotta love it. Right? Nice up yourself.
Don't even get me started on that.
Take time for you. I would say that, to me, that's sleeping. I would say take time for you. You need to take some time off. Whether it's reading, sleeping, drinking tea. I love my tea in the morning. So that's what I want to incorporate into the Socacize brand, the flaunt philosophy.
And with flaunt, you have the event. You had the boat ride.
So we started the boat rides when we started boot camp, which was about 7 years ago. And what it was is that the ladies that are doing the boot camps, which happens every season, they take that's their time to flaunt. These parties are their time to flaunt. So it's let the celebration begin. They've worked so hard. Now it's time to party harder. Right?
Yeah, like that.
So that's where they're flaunting. So when we have these flaunt events, it's not like a fitness event. You don't come in your sneakers. You're flaunting. You're feeling good. You're dressed up. You're taking time for yourself. And you're unleashing. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And even this year, I think it was, you had one of the boat rides internationally.
Yes.
How was that?
So we had a boat ride in St. Lucia last year, and it was very successful. It sold out.
Congratulations.
And thank you. Shani, I can't take any credit. Shani's an amazing instructor in St. Lucia, and she really helps promote the brand, and she believes in the flaunt acronyms. So that's why she was able to promote the flaunt brand in St. Lucia. And the ladies from the Socacize, they were flaunting on the boat. Like, I was in awe. I was just in awe. So that was really good to see. So we're doing it again this year. And then, of course, the flaunt in Toronto.
Nice.
The boat ride.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you see...
It's like 20 women to one man. The men love it.
Of course they do. That's why the women are always
you
free.
come. Yeah.
You see this difference in Toronto when carnival time comes around. Can you just like paint a picture of that for us? Like, what is that difference for Socacize when it's carnival time and everyone's ready to, you know, revel?
Right.
What's that picture for Socacize?
It's energy. It's exciting. It's like Christmas in July, right? Everyone is so looking forward to flaunt. They're looking forward to carnival. They're looking forward to feeling good. They're looking forward to, you know, just enjoy themselves. We do have a Socacize entertainment division as well, where we throw parties. So it's just energy. The energy just comes alive with the music, with the moves, with everything.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And like, just seeing that change and being a part of that change, is very inspiring. So I thank you for doing what you do and for continuing to do what you do, because when you think of resiliency and when people face that first wall of pushback, they just want to give up.
Yeah.
Right? But in hearing your story and in hearing what you've accomplished with your resiliency, it just lets people know that there is something behind that wall.
You got to battle with the punches. It will make you stronger. It will make you stronger. So if it's one thing I can say is just don't give up in what you believe in. I tell my son this before he goes to school. You can do anything you want to do. You can be anyone you want to be. Just don't give up, right? Just keep moving.
Beautiful. So what does Socacize look like in 10 years?
Well, I hope I can be looking at it from a yacht. Just joking.
You ain't lying.
In 10 years, the plan is to have a lot more instructors internationally, have, conferences for the instructors, yearly conferences, have more flaunt events, grow the instructor network. We currently have, in addition to the signature Socacize program, we currently have Socacize for Kids. We have Wine and Tone, which is a full 1-hour class now, focusing on the butt and the core.
Two most important areas.
Exactly, especially for the ladies. Yeah. And then we have the 2-hour boot camp jam. So that's just peace, and that's just energy, and that's just party. But you're burning up to 1,000 calories, and you don't even know it, right? So it's to grow the instructor program, and it's also to get more programs so that instructors can keep engaged and just keep learning.
And what about your network of people? The people that you continue to work with, who you've been working with from the beginning, who you're working with still today. How has keeping a strong circle around helped form Socacize to what it is today?
You know what? I am so grateful that people believe in me. I'm really grateful. Sometimes they believe in me more than I believe in myself. Like I would talk and they'd be like, yes! And I was like, that worked? No, I'm done. No, but I guess they see something in me most of the times, or some of the times that I don't see in myself. So I'm really blessed to have a good support network. I've had my mother support me, with my son, and just a little thing like always being there for him so that I can go and focus on what I got to do is what I need. Support network. It's so much more than just finances sometimes, right? The money's amazing, but when you have people there for you that would take care of your son, that would help you out, give you a contact information that you've been looking for, and just believe in the brand, just want to be there, just want to be in your presence, it's a blessing, and I am really grateful for being able to have really good people around me.
And how can we as young people differentiate real support from people just kind of piggybacking off of what you have?
You would be able to tell. You would know in your gut when they're doing that. It would feel different. It's a feeling for me anyway. You would know who's for you and who's just there to get something from you. And there will be people in your circle like that, but once you know what their strengths are, then you would know how to deal with that.
Okay. And I kind of just want to touch a little bit on the social media aspect, because when we look at social media, we see our definition of success.
Yes.
Because we're seeing it through someone else's eyes. And one of the ladies who was here today, she said they see your glory, but not your story. So what is the one thing from your story that you can tell these people who are looking at your social media to say, don't believe the hype? You just have to, what can you tell them to say, you know, it's not just the social media, but this is actually what it is like to do what I do?
I love what you said. You see their glory, but not their story. I think being real and talking real stories on social media is important. It would be nice for us to have real stories through social media so people could see the candid views on other revelers, instructors' perspective when it comes to the Socacize brand. In terms of, you know, social media and showing the people looking from the outside in, for me, it's just I want to show them the fun in working out and having, like, keeping fit through Socacize. I want people to keep moving, whether it's just whining while you're in Socacize or just chipping, but I want you to have fun with it. And that's one of the biggest things that I can portray on social media, the fun aspect, but you also getting results.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So, closing question, and this is something that I always like to ask people because it's always a different answer. What is your personal definition of success?
My personal definition of success: knowing that you've tried, knowing that you've tried everything in you to make things work that you want to do. If you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I've tried, then that's the definition of success. And if you're happy with where you are, that's the definition of success.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You see, all you got to do is try. So in closing out, let everyone know where we can find you.
Socacize.com, Socacize, that's the website. You can find us at 416, the phone number is 416-728-5545. Social media is Socacize, Socacize Fitness Inc. My personal social media is Ayanna_Uni. What else? Email info@socacize.com.
And website? You said website.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Ayanna, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. We
have learned so much from you, and we just thank you for being open and being honest with us here on our couch.
Anytime. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, again, for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, please remember to follow us on Instagram at makeyourmark.ca and log on weekly for new updates to our website, www.makeyourmark.ca. I almost forgot. And follow me at Vanessa C. Spence on Instagram and also my website, www.vanessac.spence. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.